Let us study the first poem in your textbook, The Charge of the Light Brigade, written by Alfred Tennyson. The Charge of the Light Brigade is a narrative poem that celebrates the heroism of a British cavalry brigade. Cavalry, a group of soldiers mounted on horses. Brigade, that's a group, at the Battle of Balaclava, that is in Russia, during the Crimean War. Due to some miscommunication by senior leaders, commanders, British soldiers were ordered to charge at their Russian enemies through open area terrain under heavy fire from cannons, big guns. The British soldiers suffered very heavy casualties and gained nothing in the war. The poem was written by Tennyson after he read an account of the tragedy that struck the British Cavalry Brigade. Now let's read the poem. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade, charge for the guns, he said. Into the valley of death rode the 600. Forward the Light Brigade, was there a man dismayed? Not though the soldier knew someone had blundered. There's not to make reply, there's not to reason why, there's but do and die. Into the valley of death rode the 600. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon in front of them volleyed and thundered, stormed at with a shot and shell, boldly they rode and well into the jaws of death, into the mouth of hell rode the 600. Flash all their sabres bay, flash as they turned in air, sabring the gunners they, charging an army while all the world wondered. Plunged in the battery smoke, right through the line they broke, Cossack and Russian reeled from the sabre stroke, shattered and sundered, then they rode back, but not that 600. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to left of them, cannon behind them, volleyed and thundered, stormed at with shot and shell, while the horse and hero fell. They that had fought so well came through the jaws of death, back from the mouth of hell, all that was left of them, left of 600. When can their glory fade? Oh, the wild charge they made, all the world wondered, honor the charge they made, honor the Light Brigade, noble 600 soldiers. Half a league, half a league. League is a measurement of distance that is equal to about 5.5 kilometers. So the commander is giving instructions to the soldiers, the cavalry brigade, saying, go forward, just half a league, go forward, half a league onward. Then hearing the instruction, hearing the order given by the leader, all the 600 soldiers rushed forward into the valley of death. Valley of death, the valley of death refers to the Balaclava Valley where the battle took place between Russians and the English. The English soldiers, the cavalry brigade, rushed into the valley of death without knowing that they were walking into a trap. They rode forward listening to the instruction given by the leader. Rode the 600 soldiers forward, the Light Brigade. Now the brigade, the cavalry brigade is called Light Brigade because it's a brigade comprising soldiers who are not heavily armed, they are lightly armed. In this case, with only a sword and a single gun, single firearm. Now look at these 600 soldiers. They are riding their horses, and what do they carry? They carry Just a sword and a single firearm, nothing more than that, nothing else. So that's called a light brigade, lightly armed, not heavily armed. And now they are fighting against the Russians who are heavily armed. But the leader gives them the instruction that they should go forward. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death. Now the battle is called a valley of death because without knowing, they walked into a battlefield which waited for them, which absorbed them, which shattered them into pieces, which killed them. That's why it is referred to as a valley of death. And brought the 600 soldiers, and the leader is giving the instruction saying, forward the light brigade, charge for the guns. Now these soldiers are carrying just a sword. They are carrying just swords and firearms, single firearms, and they are charging. They are supposed to attack the soldiers who are carrying heavy guns. So charge for the guns, he said. Who is he here? The leader, the commander, he said. Into the valley of death. Here in this order, they walked into the valley of death, rode the 600. They rode their horses into the valley of death. That is the battle, the Balaclava Valley where the battle took place. Forward the light brigade. Was there a man dismayed among the soldiers? Was there a man who had some fear in his mind, who was really frightened, who did not feel like accepting the order? So among the 600 soldiers, was there a man who was not willing to do so, who was really frightened to walk into the valley of death, carrying just a sword and a single firearm? Was there a man dismayed? Or not, though the soldier knew someone had blundered. Now the soldiers, at least one of the soldiers knew well that someone had made a mistake, blundered, made a mistake. The leader, the commander had made a mistake. So this was known to one of the soldiers. But could he speak? No, this is not to make reply. So when a commander gives an order, the soldiers, the warriors are not supposed to ask any counter questions. They cannot give any reply. They should blindly follow the order given by the commander. So there was one soldier who had his own doubts about it, but still, without making any reply, without asking why, without raising any doubts, these men walked into the valley of death. Theirs refers to soldiers. Theirs not to make reply. They can't make any reply. They can't ask any question. They can't raise any doubts. There's not a reason why they can ask a question why. After an order is given by a commander, the soldiers are not supposed to ask him, why should we do that? Or should we do that? No, there is no scope for asking this kind of question. Their fate is just to do and die. When a man becomes a soldier, his duty is to do, that is fight and then die. Into the valley of death, around the 600. So, without having any scope for asking questions, raising some doubts, all the 600 soldiers walked into the valley of death. When they walked into the valley of death, when they rushed into the Balaclava Valley, they found cannon used by the enemy soldiers, Russian soldiers, to the right of them. They found cannon to the left of them. They found cannon in front of them. Cannons are heavy guns. They are using, British soldiers are carrying swords and single firearms. But the enemy soldiers are using cannons, heavy guns. So they found cannon to the right of them. They found cannon to the left of them. They found cannon in front of them. And these cannons fired. Volley is a rapid simultaneous discharge of firearms. So the cannons were seen firing, making a heavy noise. The cannons were volleying, the cannons were discharging firearms, and they were thundering, they were making a loud noise. Stormed at with a shot and shell. When the British soldiers walked into the Balaclava Valley, the shells and shots thundered. Shells and shots stormed at them, rushed towards them. So that means these soldiers were attacked with shots and shells by the enemy soldiers. But still, courageously, boldly, they rode and well into the jaws of death. But still, since they had the instruction to go forward, they did not go back in fear. They did not withdraw themselves. They went forward without fearing the cannons, without being scared of the cannons, firing cannons. Boldly, courageously they rode and well, and where they got to, they went to the jaws of death. Jaws of death here, the mouth of death, the cave of death. They walked into the cave of death, into the mouth of hell, battlefield. It is called mouth of hell because everybody who goes inside gets killed there. Around the 600. So all the 600 rushed into the jaws of death or the mouth of hell. While entering the mouth of hell, these soldiers flash all their sabres here, swords. I have told you that British soldiers are carrying just sabres. So they took out the swords and flashed the sabres at the enemies. Flash as a turn in air, sabring, cutting the gunners there. So they tried to attack the gunners, the enemy soldiers, with their swords, charging an army, while all the world wondered why they were doing it, what they were doing. While the 600 soldiers were rushing, were attacking the gunners, attacking the enemy soldiers who were using cannons, the outside world wondered how the British soldiers who are lightly armed could take on the heavily armed Russian soldiers. They plunged in the battery smoke. Battery smoke, a bank of guns that rapidly fire simultaneously or in a staggered manner. The guns which fire continuously plunged in the battery smoke, the smoke that is coming out of the guns. Right through the line they broke. So there was a line of guns, a line of soldiers who were heavily armed, and our British soldiers, the innocent British soldiers, lightly armed British soldiers, the Light Brigade, walked right through the line. Cossack and Russian, whom did they have to fight? The British soldiers had to fight the Cossacks and Russian. Cossack, a member of Slavic people living in southern European Russia and Ukraine. These Slavic people, Cossacks, are known for their horsemanship and military skill. Cossacks formed an elite cavalry corps in the Tsarist Russia. So Cossack and Russians were trained in fighting. They were known for their horsemanship and military skill, and the innocent, the Light Brigade, had to fight, had to take on Cossacks and Russians who were nicely trained in the war, beautifully trained in the war, trained in fighting. So Cossack and Russian soldiers who reeled, shaken from their saber stroke. So when the British soldiers tried to attack the Cossack and Russian with their swords, they shattered and sundered. Sundered here, cut into two, cut into pieces. They attacked the British soldiers. They shattered the British soldiers and cut them into two, cut them into pieces. At that time, they rode back. So, not being able to withstand the attack, they came back, they rode back, but not the 600, but the 600 who went inside. All the 600 soldiers who went into the mouth of death could not come back. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon behind them, volleying and thundering, stormed out with a shot and hail, while the horse and the hero fell. These British soldiers are surrounded by gunners, surrounded by cannons, and what happens to the soldiers, innocent soldiers, the Light Brigade? While horse and the hero fell, unable to withstand the attack, pressure put on them by the enemy soldiers, both the horse and the hero fell. They that had fought so well, they entered the valley fighting so well, came through the jaws of death, and they had to pass through the jaws of death. Back from the mouth of hell, all that was left of them, left of 600. 600 soldiers went into the jaws of death, fighting gloriously, fighting bravely, fighting gallantly, but only a few of them came out of the jaws of death. Now, when can their glory fade? They are the British soldiers. Can their glory disappear, vanish? Never, never. Oh, the wild charge they made. Even though they were lightly armed, they made wild charge against the enemies, leaving the world wondering why they were doing it, how they were doing it. Honor the charge they made. So now we can just say honor, respect, glorify the charge the Light Brigade made. Honor the Light Brigade, just glorify them, or praise them, celebrate their bravery, courage, the noble 600.